Celestial rising, divine at the noon and grand night. Nah. Celestial rising, abundant afternoon, and inspiring night to the most amazing divine reflection watching this video. It's your divine reflection, divine messenger, and we are back with another observation. And excuse me, y'all, it's 6:46 a.m. right now. As you can see, the sun is not even rising. Well, it's about to start rising, but I'm just trying to gather my thoughts off the wake up. I've been up since 5 something, had to use the bathroom, but yeah, I couldn't go back to sleep because, of course, you feel me? So, first and foremost, I really appreciate you all for the ones who are subscribing and consistently watching the videos and liking. Thank you to the people who are liking, and it really means a lot because you all are really pushing the videos into the algorithm, it seems like. And, we all are very consistent. We're averaging almost over 100 views, and that may not seem like a lot, but in the future, with where we are to where we are right now, it really is a major jump. And I just really want to appreciate you all for all the little moments that do matter, because it's the small things that count to help us build, a community, to help us build a support system, because we all support each other. And speaking of supporting each other, and I just want to talk about what happened at work yesterday, because what happened at work was really just different. And I have key points as well, but I just wanted to go ahead and knock down what I experienced, because I really want to be able to make somebody's day to day, because I know somebody's out there going through something, and somebody's out there probably stressing over a lot, or you probably feel alone, or you probably don't feel like you're heard, or you just have so many things that you're focused on, or things that you want to reach, or things that you expect, or things that you want to place yourself in. And that's exactly why being kind to yourself and being gentle, but also being considerate of your feelings, being considerate of your emotions. And always remember too, no matter how tired you are, make sure that you overcome the things that the mind wants you to not really focus on as far as limitations, because when the mind feels as if it has to stop doing something, or it needs to rest, or this and that, you're not putting yourself first at this point. And the thing is, so when you put yourself first, you make sure that everybody else around you who deserves to have your energy or your words, or even just the energy that you want to spread upon the universe, these people around you really are inspired, and they look up to who you are becoming, because just of the things that you are able to, I'm trying to gather, just different words, my bad, y'all. I'm trying to think, but, I'm just too tired for all that. I'm gonna probably go back to sleep after this, but I just wanted to make a quick little video. Well, it ain't gonna be quick, but yeah, just make sure that you honestly just give yourself grace, and be more kind to others, be more accepting, and always never really care about the negatives, because they're gonna always be there. There are gonna be some days that we don't want to do this, or some days to where people will feel a certain way about whatever, but that doesn't mean that you treat that person with negativity. Because imagine you're being an adult, or you are an adult, and you're spreading negativity towards a kid, or your sibling, or your mom and your dad. What do you gain from doing these things? And that's not your character. That's definitely not your observation. And when we realize these things, we should spread more kindness and bring more love into this realm. Yesterday at work, it was a great day. And I know yesterday is yesterday, but I just want to bring that energy into today, because every day to me is a great day. I say that every day. Today is a great day. And even if it's not, it's going to be a great day. And it's not even 7 o'clock yet, but yet and still, somebody out there is sleeping right now, and yet you and I, we're up, doing what we had to do to make sure that we provide for our family, because we don't have time to just be sitting there laying in our thoughts, or thinking about what we can do, or how we should do it, or when we should be doing it. No, We need to be doing these things right now because we don't have time to sit here and wait. But yesterday, kids got off the bus around 2:30 something. You know, they had a lot of energy and brought them snacks. They had grapes, apple juice, Nutri-Grain bars, and what was that main thing they had? It was something like beans and something else. I didn't serve that, but it was given to them. But yeah, they had beans and there was some type of meat inside the beans, whatever. But you know, just the kids were just, their energy was different yesterday, and a lot of them kept asking about grapes and all that, and I kept having to tell them like no, because we gotta make sure everybody else is eating and all that. But it's the fact that they were willing to ask me about the grapes, and a lot of them just ran up and down, you know, the classroom, and a lot of them still being mean to each other. A lot of them not listening because they have a hard time sitting down. So the second and third graders, and I have a whole class to myself, so that's another thing. Like, I miss having another coworker to help get that load off, because dealing with over 20 something kids, it's like, bro, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, bro, I even got tired by saying that, because it's just, that's a lot of energy. There's just so many things going on. But the one experience I enjoyed was when we were outside. The best thing and for one, you know, before we went outside, you know, them helping clean up their areas, it's as if they don't want to listen, but a lot of times they choose to listen. They're just being kids. So that's why I want to make sure that they get the best things provided or handed to them, because they deserve the world. It's just they don't understand how to listen and decipher the things that they should be considering. Because it's like, you know, consider how I feel when all of them are just running around the room, yelling and doing nasty stuff. I mean, one of the boys named Kason, he had apple juice, he had grapes, and it was like he was stuffing his face. They also had rolls too. He was stuffing his face, and then he had the juice and the grapes dripping from his mouth. And I'm like, Kason, come on, bro. And it's hard to get mad at them. Like, I really can't raise my voice at them because you're only in second and third grade. I don't expect you to know what I know, and I don't really care for them to know that, because I want them to enjoy their youth. I don't ever want to take that from them. And do they piss me off? For sure. They do damn near every day, but I enjoy that. And that's why I'm very soft with them. But I also assert dominance when it's time, because when it's time to listen, when I raise my voice, they understand, like, okay, Coach Darius is not playing today. Let's make sure we listen and just follow directions. I want them to have fun. I want them to do their homework. I want them to go outside and play, go to the gym, play with their friends, because we're not there for too long anyway. So I want them to be able to enjoy their own presence. We went outside, and no, actually, a boy named Daryl, he ended up getting 2 grapes, and a boy named Jackson. Jackson is a key point in this story, by the way. But Daryl ended up getting 2 grapes. Jackson told me, Coach Darius, how come Daryl got 2 sides of grapes? And I said, Daryl, why didn't you ask me? And he said, I don't know. And it's like, when I ask them questions, they don't know how to respond. It's as if their body freezes, and like they look at me like, I be telling them, you're not in trouble necessarily. I just need to know why. Why did you do it? Because at least ask me. And I was telling them no, because I want to make sure, because so many kids come after 2:30, so it's like numerous buses keep on coming. And I want to make sure that the other kids get to eat, because you can't sit here and just keep on consuming snacks because you're bored, not knowing that other kids have to eat as well, because you don't know these kids ate at school. But a lot of them only focus on themselves, and I get it, but it's not all about you. We have to share the load. There's nobody got grapes. Why did you get 2 grapes? And he really couldn't answer. He was like, I don't know, I thought I could have got one. And I said, why didn't you ask me? He said, I didn't think of it. So I was just like, you know, you're gonna have to owe me some time. But it wasn't over 5 minutes. I gave him just 5 minutes, and he didn't argue. He didn't go back and forth with me. He just did his time, and I respect that because we were supposed to go downstairs to the outside field, but we couldn't go out there because the buses still had to come. So I was like, all right. And then we went upstairs, we went through the gym, and then we went to the backfield in the back of the building. And then Daryl asked me, he said, Coach, do I still have time? And what's crazy, I respect this. I wasn't even keeping time, but I was keeping time in my head. But I wasn't gonna let him sit for too long anyways, because I didn't really care. I just wanted him to know you just can't do things without asking. At least ask me. And if everybody else got some grapes, go ahead, Daryl, you good. Go ahead and take care of yourself. But he sat down as we went to the other field. The one thing I respect for Daryl, and Daryl's a hyperactive kid. He can't sit down, and he's always screeching. He's always touching on his friends and all that, not in an inappropriate way, but like a playful way. I can respect that. These kids aren't really on weird timing. Like when I was back at my Stone Mountain establishment, those kids over there, that was just a whole different ball game. Those zesty acts, I don't understand that. But these kids here, I don't have to deal with that, which is honestly, that's comforting. But he sat on the bench and I looked at him. He said, hey coach, do I still have time? And I looked at him, I said, Daryl, it's the fact that you sat down and you still thought as if you had time because you understood that you didn't think the time was up. And honestly, I said, you know what, Daryl, go ahead and play, bro, because I respect a man who can do that. And the thing is, I say a man because I don't see these kids as kids. I see them as adults, not in that way, but I respect them to that degree because I want them to know you won't be this age forever. You won't be at that mindset forever. So I want to treat you with respect. I want to treat you with, admiration. I want to make sure that you know that you are valuable. You are worth something in society. And so I told him to go play. Now Jackson and Carter they were playing football and they wanted to play ones. So, I had the ball and I was just throwing, like they were just doing routes. So I was throwing the ball and whatever. And Jackson, I was picking on him. I was like, Jackson, you ain't got no hands. You ain't gonna catch it or whatever. But Jackson is a great kid. His dad, he told me his dad is 7 foot. His mom is 6 foot. And his dad used to play in the NFL. His dad's name is Jonathan Naver. But I don't know how true that is. But, his dad's 7 foot. That's just crazy. But he said his dad's a truck driver and all that. And he told me, he's really good at football. He's a lineman. And he's not that tall yet, but I told him to his face, I said, you're going to have a huge growth spurt. And he was just like smiling and all that. And I told him, you got to stop picking on other kids though, because you don't know your own strength. And when a lot of kids piss him off or whatever, he'll end up pushing them. He'll end up like balling his fist up, trying to check them. And I'm just like, Jackson, stop doing that because you don't know what these kids go through. Not only just that, you're trying to instill fear into a kid, and we're not bullies, bro. And I get that you're bigger than a lot of these kids, but when you get older, you're gonna have a huge growth spurt. You may be 6'9", you may be 7 foot like his dad. He may be 6'11", but you have to be able to watch your strength, bro, because you could end up killing somebody, and you can do time for that because you're not controlling your emotions because somebody pushed you or somebody said something to you. Just ignore that. You have a bright future. This kid said, and because Alabama is literally right next. You can drive 10 minutes or 15 minutes or less than that, and Alabama's literally right there. We were like, the border's not that far from our house. And he said in Phoenix City, he was playing for some team, and that's like where the all-stars are. So all the people, or it's like a combine basically, and all the best kids in different areas, they go out there. And he said he was dominating, and I was just like, I expect nothing less from you, Jackson. And it got to a point to where we played 2v2. So, I was the quarterback and I was just throwing the ball to them. That was really fun because we were playing like 4 downs, and it was enjoyable to see them just get upset when they drop the ball, or them saying, Coach, I'm wide open. I throw the ball, they dropping it. Or if I'm throwing the ball and they're getting a touchdown. We had one boy named George. He's a Caucasian boy, and I threw him the ball one time, and he caught it. This boy caught it, and he was like he was in the NFL. He was, and they were playing two-hand touch, so he was running, and one of the boys tried to get him. He was like, ah, go! I was like, let's go, George, let's go! Like, I was cheering him on and all that. That shit was, I love it, and just seeing their reactions, because even when they drop it, I wasn't even mad. I wasn't saying you're trash. No, I was doing the things where I'm like, like, come on, bro. I need that. You dropping the money. And so they were just laughing, because it's as if I get to see my younger self through them. So I really want to pick them up, make sure that, you know, when they drop a pass, it's cool, bro. It's just football. It ain't that serious. And, you know, fast forward, they were playing 4v4, but some of the kids left because it got too hot. So me and Jackson were just outside just talking, and he was like we were just chatting, honestly. It was as if I was just speaking to my younger brother, and I was just telling him, bro, you're gonna be great. You're gonna be on the big screen one day. And he was just listening. He was just taking it all in. And I said, you know, Jackson, you're really, and I asked him too, like, you know, what is your name? And he was just telling me about himself, and I was just telling him, you have to be more nice. It's getting hot too. I was telling him, you have to be more nice to these kids, because you don't really know what you're doing to them and all that. He was like, yeah, I know, coach, that's my bad. And I said, I want to see you on the big screen, and, you know, I can't wait to hear your name whenever you're hitting somebody or you picking somebody up. And the thing is too, that made me laugh. I said, bro, I can imagine you, like, somebody's trying to run, and since you're a lineman, you're gonna pick them up. And he was looking at me, his eyes like lit up, because I was pretending that I was him. So I was like picking up an imaginary person, and I was like, this is gonna be you when you get older, Jackson. And he said, boo! Like, at the same, like, me and him at the same exact time, and he was smiling. Because I had somebody, I said, Jackson, whenever you see somebody running in your way, you gotta make sure you pick them up. Boom! And he was like, yeah! And like, me and him we were just chatting and all that. And ever since then, bro, he was just like, he said, Coach, you gonna be here tomorrow? I was like, of course, bro. He was like, yes! He was like, let's go, I can't wait. And he was following me after that. And we went into the gym, and I met Kylie and Kelly, and they're two girls, they cheerlead, and they're really nice. There was one boy who kept bothering them, and his name is Casey, I think, but yeah, he kept bothering them, and she was like, he said, no, I'm afraid of her because she gonna hit me or whatever. And she was like, I don't want to do her mannerism, and she was like, and I was just like, well, she's gonna probably pick on you or mess with you because you keep bothering her. And she was like, you're right, coach. And then I kid you not, at first I literally just placed myself at this table. Then Jackson, I watched him. He got a seat from this table that's not that far. He dragged it over by my table, sat right next to me. So I said, all right. After that, I was just talking to him, but then this girl named Kelsey, she's 9 years old. She has an older sister too, but Kelsey was she was standing in front of me, and then Kelly came next to me. Not only just that, 3 more kids came around me, and it was as if we were just at the lunch table just talking, and it was crazy because I was just looking, and they were surrounding me. But I don't think they were aware of what they were doing and what they were attracted by. But I was just talking to them as if they were my children. And I'm learning their names, getting to know their character. But it was really interesting to just see how they gravitate towards me. And I'm really thankful for that experience, honestly, because, you know, a lot of them kept asking, you know, what's your name? And just asking me, like, what I like and all that. And we also played all around the world. So it was me, Jackson, and this boy named Bryce. Bryce, a lot of these kids, they look up to Bryce as far as sports or basketball, because Bryce is not bad at basketball. It's just he's very selfish at times. He can be hot-tempered, but he means well. He has a great spirit, and he respects people that he knows, he respects people that are better than him, basically. Because every time he sees me, he's like, "What's up, coach?" Like, he'll do this every single time. He's like, "What's up, coach?" And when I shoot it, he'll be like, "Man, that's a great shot, coach." And I look at him, I'm like, "Thanks, bro." He'll be like, "No problem, man." And it's so weird to me because why are you doing that? But I understand why. So we were playing shootout, and of course, it was so bad. I was shooting it consistently. It was to a point where I think I made every spot like all around. So I was just shooting just threes, and they were shooting. I let them both go first, and yeah, we were just playing and all that. And even a counselor too. Her name is Miss Carson, or Miss C. I already said her name, damn it. But yeah, she was being very nice to me as well, which was very interesting. But when we were shooting all around the world, there was two boys that got in trouble, and they kept saying break. They were saying break to me as well, but I tuned them out. But they were saying break to them a lot, and it was triggering both of them. And they were like, "Man, shut up! Like, I'm trying to make it." And I told Jackson and Bryce, I said, "Hey, fellas," and they looked at me and they were getting mad. I said, "Hey, just ignore them. Look at them. They're writing down sentences because they got in trouble by another counselor." So they were in the gym just writing down stuff while everybody else was playing. I said, "Don't worry about them, bro. This is our sanctuary. Focus on that realm. It's you in that realm. All that other noise doesn't matter." They said, "You're right, you're right." They shot it, they braked it. The boys kept saying break, and then they would look back. They were like, I said, "Hey, hey," and they were like, they just kept shooting. And when they would say break, they looked at me. I said, "It's all right, it's all right. Remember, this is why you practice, so that people can't say break to you no more." And then when they don't say break to you, now they're your biggest fan. They were like, "You're right, you're right." And then after that, what else had happened? I mean, really much. That was pretty much the day after that. And then just for key points that I have as well, just from what I noticed, I don't got too many key points. I just want to go ahead and fly through these real quick. So I ain't gonna lie, I'm still tired. But I realized that my presence was activating dormant frequencies within these children. And I understand that a lot of these children, a lot of them are still untainted and they're tied into, somebody just said, "I'm proud of you." Whoever that was in YouTube studio, I'm proud of you as well. But a lot of them are still programs within a deep mind control psychological operation. But their energy, they can feel authenticity before they're able to understand that. And then as I keep myself grounded, I stay calm, and I have positive intentions with my words and energy. I'm activating a dormant desire within these kids to help them rise into their higher self. So even though I'm speaking to them, I'm not just speaking to them, because I'm reminding their spirit of who they always been. So that's exactly why they constantly gravitate towards me. They mimic me, and they have to linger around my auric field, because every single day I represent a frequency that they don't get to often see themselves being in, but they deeply desire that need to be around that energy for them to start embodying when they get older, and they'll always gravitate towards that, or they may even want to present that to the world because of how I was able to show them a different type of a way of thinking. The next one, since I first met them 2 weeks ago, I basically became a mirror for their best potential. So when I was talking to Jackson and giving him eye contact, by telling him you're going to be on the big screen and telling him stop picking on kids smaller than you, I was basically showing him discipline, but I was also showing him a projection of his own vision inside of him. So I seen his future in front of his face in the moment. So it's like me showing prophetic gifts or whatever, even envisioning. So I'm able to see, like being a seer, able to see, or even a medium as well, being able to see timelines all at once. And I can just tell somebody about their future and their past and their present without really knowing them. But being around their energy, I can tell them what I see them being, but I want them to know their own being. So I was showing him that his divine masculine has a lot of potential, but I have to call out his shadow side that he's not aware of, so he can be this masculine figure in divinity. But in order to get there, you have to be able to heal your shadow. So I don't know what these kids go through behind closed doors, but you can't just keep on picking on kids because they said something about you or they did this or that to you. And then I also realize as well, to be seen by people or beings who have vision and wisdom, they understand that this is a rare instance to come across. So that's exactly why Jackson kept on following me, because I'm his first mirror that he's ever witnessed and been around, to where he's able to see his future without being judged. And that's exactly why I'm able to give him that guidance. Because I want him to know every time he sees me, excuse me, every time he sees me, I can see his future. I mean, if I choose to tell him about it, but I can see his future. But in order for me to tell him about that, he has to start doing better for his shadow side. Because I don't just tell people about their futures, because I know what mine looks like, but it doesn't make sense for an ascended being to harp or fondle or dawn over or even ponder over their future, because it's like, no, I'd rather tell you about your future and nobody can tell me about mine, because I know where I'm going. I see it every day. But for them, I see their future every single day, but I choose to not say anything because some of them can't comprehend that. The third part, every single day, and even with my videos, even the way I speak and all that, I channel divine masculine energy in a fatherless generation. And that's why a lot of the kids, the boy Carter, when I first met him, he literally called me daddy, and he called me papa as well. And another girl as well, she ended up saying she loves me in the first week. Like, she did a little art project, and in the picture it said, put a name of the person that you love. And she asked me, how do you spell your name? I said, Michaela. What do you mean? Put your name down. I said, Darius. And she put it down, and she said, here you go, coach. I looked at it, and it said, name a person that you love. She said, Coach Darius. I said, damn, bro. And she told her mom about me. And I think her mom may be single. I may assume, but I was like, oh, shit. I was like, damn, Michaela. She's like my daughter. I ain't even gonna lie to you. She's like my little sister, really. But the thing I realized is that it doesn't really matter if the absence is a physical or emotional thing. A lot of kids today lack a conscious male figure. And I mean, you and I, we see that every single day on social media. We see it in the classroom. We see it in the workspace. We see it just in society. And the thing is, my balance of playing with them as far as, in the appropriate manner, because, we got weirdos on the internet. Oh, you're playing with kids? Stop, bro. You got to get a background check with where I am. So you can't just walk up in there and say, I don't want to go ahead and counsel kids. No, you have to go through a whole screening process and a drug testing as well. So, but, me having that balance of being able to play with them, protecting them, and guiding them. And of course, we have different joking acts or whatever the case as well. But I'm basically showing them and channeling a surrogate father frequency, because I'm able to be stable with them, show them enlightenment, but yet I still command the best out of all of them. And by me doing that, I realized that's why they keep gravitating towards me. That's why they always touch me. That's exactly why they always have to copy me or mimic me. And that's exactly why they always want my validation, because they want to make sure that I'm seeing them grow. I'm seeing them do or accomplishing different things that they find so much joy in accomplishing something. I'm gonna make sure that I cheer them on. Hey coach, I did this. Hey coach, look at this. Oh, okay. Good job, good job. Hey, don't throw that paper airplane. Come on now, you know better than that. And the same way I just said that, I talk to them the exact same way. When they do dumb shit, they look at me, I'll be like, really, bro? Come on, man, pick that up. My bad, coach. You know better. Come on, man. And then I also realized too, I'm unknowingly reparenting a generation by giving them attention, emotional availability, but also I have a calm authority. I don't ever raise my voice, because the thing is, if I raise my voice, you piss me off. And the thing is, too, you're gonna see my shadow side. I don't wanna go to that side. And I used to have anger issues when I was younger, but that's why I'm calm. I don't like to be angry. I don't wanna fight nobody. I don't wanna argue. I don't wanna go that route. I don't like to see that person. That's why I stay at peace. Literally, I stay at peace. And the last one. Every single day I realize that I'm spiritually being initiated into being in leadership by being in innocence. And by realizing that it's not always about the kids, but it's basically the universe initiating me into a higher realm. Every single day I had this feeling. I don't know why, but I do know why. But every day I had this feeling. I'm gonna make it out. I'm gonna be the one that's, hey, you know, Darius lived in that apartment right there. I used to see him walking out, going to the park, making videos, and I watched all his videos. I remember him taking out the trash, or him being, I used to be in the same class as him, and I can see that. I remember I used to see him in the halls, and these are just things that I noticed, because I understand people, I don't know who watches my videos. I don't know who watches my videos as far as in school or in my college, but excuse me, I realize that I'm being initiated to higher realms. So I know people are noticing, people are watching, and every day I'm being taught how to lead through being innocent or moving in innocence, being patient. That's the most important thing. Being patient with the beings who aren't at my mental frequency. Being able to have humor with them as well, and then restraint. I say restraint because there are times where I want to choke the shit out of them, but I don't. I have to be able to observe my reactions, because I'm not the reactor. I'm observing the reaction of the reactors. And I understand that too. Children are mirrors of pure consciousness, and the way I interact with them is showing me and showing them how energy impacts others without putting in any effort. Like, doing this is easy. I don't want to do it, but it's just that easy. That's why I don't want to do it. And I realize as well, come on, Gateway, get right. That's how you know it's early. My throat gateway is still it's basically aligning with the luminary. But the more awareness I keep developing in these moments, the more I'm being prepared for higher leadership. And it's not just upon kids, but adults, elders, and generations, platforms, and even movements outside of social media and in real life. So when people see me off of social media and they see me speaking to a bunch of groups, and I'm able to shift rooms, I'm able to get people to listen to my word, that's basically me being prepared for, leadership. That's exactly why many people who can relate to my videos, you are a leader, because you understand that we don't have time to make excuses. That's exactly why I lead by example. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, my rising routine. I don't mind it, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you the whole gist of what I do, because in my videos, you understand, if you met me, you will realize, oh, I can see why he's so disciplined, because I have an obligation to accomplish. I have a destination to reach, and I'm going to reach that shit. Excuse me. And with just these other 4 key points as well, I was just studying the names of what these feelings are. And I only want to put the names because we got to classify how these vibrations are. So I realized that for my presence activating dormant frequencies within other beings, I call this embodied frequency awakening. I'm gonna say it again. I call this embodied frequency awakening, meaning that when my presence alone is acting as a tuning generator, I realize that this is calling others back to their original vibration. So that's exactly why their highest self will be able to activate its awakening around their consciousness or their programming. So because of that, beneath this programming that they are stuck in, when they come around me, I generate and I signal their highest self. I tell them That's not your character. So when they see me, they have to embody who they are being. I tell them, be yourself. Don't be like anybody else in this room. When they realize that, they get back to their way of thinking, and that's how they're able to embody that frequency awakening. The next one, a solar observation level reflection. I am reflecting not just what these beings are being, but what they could be. They trusted their highest path or their highest journey into what they are able to attract in their existence. Because in their eyes, they see me as prophecy. They wouldn't call it that, but they understand that my gifts and the way I'm able to speak to them, the way I'm able to control them without even having to yell or whatever, they understand that I'm able to be the best reflection that they've never seen before. Because the other counselor who was working before me, as soon as I came there, he stopped showing up. I'm like, damn, what the hell happened to the other counselor? But I don't really know. But since I changed the whole way of the program, that's just what happens when you step into a new environment and you remain yourself. I remain myself every single day, to where people do things to cater towards my needs. People do things to make sure that I'm comfortable, I'm satisfied, I'm pleased. And when people understand that, it's like they're working for me, but they won't tell me that because they don't realize it unconsciously or consciously. The next part, so for the channeling divine masculine energy in the fatherless generation, I will call this a sacred stability, or a stability in sacred actions of righteousness. Every day I radiate an energy that makes these beings feel safe to grow in, and you all as well. Every single day I make sure that I radiate energies that can help people feel safe, and are able to bring this safe haven into my presence. I'm able to help people understand how honest that they can be around me, and how they can feel protected. I don't instill fear upon anybody, because by me being grounded, I exude a loving presence that even their own fathers can even give them, which is very sad to me. But that's why I call it a stability of sacred righteous acts, because every day I remain grounded, not trying to instill fear or even negative programs upon them. This presence that I love myself in, I can bring that to their magnetism, and that's why they always want to be around me. That's why they always appreciate what I do for them. And lastly, for the spiritual initiation for leadership, I call this an initiation through loving innocence. And I put that because every day my life is shaping my leadership by testing how gentle I can be with the power that I handle every single day. So the children, you all, my supporters, the haters, people, elders, the government, police force, bullies, whatever, these are, I call these an exam. I call this, all those things, exams, because patience is the proof that I'm able to work through a test that I don't have to study for, because I'm working on it right now. It's an open book test, never study for it, but I realize that I'm being tested every single day by children, by people on the internet or in real life. So because I'm able to stay grounded, to stay calm, to stay in the moment and be patient with myself, I realize that that's how I'm able to be the best version that these beings have never encountered before, because it was always somebody being in their midst. There's always somebody showing them something, but they haven't seen or heard words that can help make them feel better, because we don't know what these children go through. We don't even ask about their day. I make sure to greet them. I make sure that they're fed. I make sure that their homework is done. I make sure that they're able to just be kind to each other. I make sure that they're doing okay mentally, emotionally. They want to talk about anything, I'm here for them. If they want any advice, I'll give them advice as well. But even though I don't have any kids, it's really honoring to know that me being so patient in life, that was my biggest test of all, because everything that I want and that I expect has already been placed upon me. And the thing is too, I'm so thankful to be able to record a dream. That's the best way I can put it. Every time I hit record, all you can see is a dream that I'm living in. And the thing is too, every time you watch my videos, I want you to understand that you are doing great. You are the best person I've ever met, that I've ever seen. You are the best person that I've never encountered before, most likely. You are doing so amazing. You are well. I'm proud of you. And keep on going. Keep on striving to be the best version of your highest self. Embody those higher frequencies. Never give up on yourself, and never talk down on yourself. Never tell yourself you can't do anything, and never say, oh, I'm not this, I'll never be that. Never put self-doubt in your program ever. And if you don't feel good, do all that you can to keep on going, because remember, all we are doing every day is living out the dreams that we've seen before, which is why no matter what you do, be the example that people can look up to and be inspired by. And yes, every day I realize that people won't tell you about how great you are. They won't tell you about how inspiring you are. They won't tell you how infatuated they are with your journey. They won't even tell you that they're mesmerized or even they idolize your existence. They won't tell you that. But when you make it, when you present to the world, when you show to the world what you worked hard to achieve and what you're being placed in, when they see that firsthand as the example of a living testimony, that's when they work harder. Because every day I tell myself, I want to be a living embodiment of, if he can do it, so can I. So what is your excuse? Never give up on the youth, and never bring the youth down just because your youth may not have been like theirs is. Always uplift each other, because we all we got. We are a family, we are a unit. Even if we don't vibrate on the same frequency, we have to get majority of people back to where they belong. We don't belong in this realm. That's why every single day we gotta make sure that we're helping anybody realize how powerful their spiritual embodiment is being when they're able to awaken in a different wavelength that can't be classified or defined by the English language. It's Tuesday, 7:28 a.m. Let's get to work. Have a great and divine day, divine reflection.